Well, when he wasn't throwing haymakers at the media today, the president was shooting down reports that he let go of White House counsel Don McGahn because of his cooperation with the Mueller probe and his defense of Jeff Sessions, tweeting, quote, "I am very excited about the person who will be taking the place of Don McGahn as White House counsel. I like Don, but he was not responsible for me not firing Bob Mueller or Jeff Sessions. So much fake reporting and fake news." The president also denied reports that Ivanka Trump, his daughter, and her husband, Jared Kushner, were behind the decision, a tweet that reportedly caught McGahn completely off guard. Of course. But if it wasn't the Mueller probe, or Jeff Sessions, or Jared and Ivanka, why is Don McGahn leaving now? Let me ask my next guest, former CIA officer and radio host Buck Sexton. Buck, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, Guy.
All right, so let's start with McGahn. You have some hyperventilation from the press over that New York Times story maybe 2 weekends ago about McGahn cooperating with Mueller. And people are saying, well, this must be point A, point B. Trump's mad, so McGahn's out. But in the story, the Times reported that Trump personally approved that cooperation with Mueller. So that story, that theory, doesn't really fly with me. What about you?
I think it's much ado about nothing, Guy. Look, when you line up the different administration folks who have departed already, McGahn has been a survivor. There's no question about it. Right, yeah, he's one of the last guys left on the island who was there in the early days. And I think that, look, it's obviously a tough job. There are a ton of different reasons that have nothing to do with any getting deep into the Trumpology here of what he said to somebody one time or another. There are tons of reasons why McGahn might just want to move on to do something else. I'm sure it's a very high-stress position. Look, the president is not disciplined. I mean, in some ways, his messaging is incredible, and he's a savant. In other ways, he's slightly undisciplined sometimes in what he's saying, especially from a lawyer's perspective. So I feel like McGahn probably is like, I could make a lot more money in the private sector and have a lot less stress. I don't buy that story about how this is some effort to punish McGahn. Trump knew he was talking to them. I think if anything else, it actually vindicates Trump in a way, because if he sat down with 30 hours, no one thinks McGahn is a Trumpster. If Mueller doesn't have something from that about specifically the Comey firing, where is he going to get it?
Yeah, well, if I'm McGahn, I'm planning a month-long vacation already.
Absolutely.
Like, I've got that in the works. Relatedly, Lindsey Graham today on another network said that the only way for Trump to have his name cleared in all the Russia stuff is to get a clean bill of health, essentially, from Bob Mueller, and that trying to fire Mueller would be the end of Trump's presidency. He would be done. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, let me take it in two parts. First, I don't think that it will clear Trump's name, even if the Mueller probe is overwhelmingly favorable to the notion that there was no collusion. I think there's probably going to be some stuff in there about the firing of Comey where Mueller's going to say, look, I'm not saying it's criminal, but I'm saying I don't like it. I think there'll be some hedging in whatever final report Mueller puts out about that. But no, the left guy is just going to say they haven't yet found the evidence. I mean, they're going to be searching for the real collusion, if you will, for the rest of Trump's presidency. That's never going to go away, no matter what the Mueller probe says. And as to whether it be the end of his presidency, I feel like it's a hypothetical that we don't have to really war game out that much, because it would be an own goal. I don't think Trump's going to do it. Would the Senate really be willing to remove? If, let's say, the Democrats take the House and impeach, would the Senate really remove based on the firing of Mueller? I guess it's possible. So Lindsey Graham's not completely over his skis on this one, but I also think it's highly, highly improbable.
Very quickly, Buck, Bruce Orr on Capitol Hill this week. We've been talking about it on the program. What's your general sense of what might happen to him, if anything?
He's already been demoted, as we know, moved off of a higher profile probe. There have been some high-level firings, and perhaps even there might be criminal charges against McCabe, who was acting FBI director. So we'll see. Guy, I think they're going to go through a process here, and if any information comes out that he really crossed a red line with his behavior in an ethical sense, not even necessarily a criminal sense, just broke his professional bounds, he might get terminated too. Why was he meeting with Christopher Steele in this way? This is bizarre, Guy. I mean, I used to work in this community, broadly speaking, and somebody at that level having these kinds of meetings, he was acting like a zealot, not a nonpartisan public servant. That's problematic.
All right, something to think about. Buck Sexton, thank you for your time tonight.
Great to see you, Guy.
Sure thing.